días, ¿qué tal todo? Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches a todos. Bueno, ahora empezaremos un directo con Nara Knits y con Sari Nordlund, una de nuestras talleristas en Barcelona Knits. Y dentro de un ratito estarán aquí. Mira, aquí ya tenemos a Nara, vamos a invitarla. Aquí, aquí está Nara. Se hará en inglés, pero dentro así lo podemos, lo subiremos en YouTube y podréis verlo con subtítulos. Buenos días, Nara, ¿qué tal?
Buenos días, ¿qué tal?
Muy bien, ¿y tú? Mira, aquí ya tenemos a Sari también, así que la aceptamos.
Ok,
Bueno, Nara les estaba comentando que este vídeo se hará en inglés, pero que en cuanto
vale.
podemos lo subiremos en nuestro canal de YouTube, donde todos pueden verlo con subtítulos. Hello,
Exacto.
Sari.
Hi,
Hi, Sari, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine
Thank you.
too.
Thank you, girls, for being here, for making this live for
Thanks for
everyone.
having me.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. So as I was telling everybody before, Sari, this live stream will be done in English, but later we will I forgot how to say, like put
Upload.
in upload. Thank you.
Upload.
Yes, thank you. Upload at our YouTube channel so people can watch it with subtitle.
Okay.
Okay, so Nara, it's up to you. You can start whenever you want.
Thank you. Well, Chiara, thanks again for the opportunity to be here and to talk to Sari. Sari, I'm a huge fan of your work. It's like a daydream to be here talking to you today. So thank you very much. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Fine
Apparently, my
too.
cat wants to join this.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, Sari, I'd like to ask you, please, if you can tell us about a little bit about your work and about your knitting background, because although
Yeah.
you are a reference in Finland and in the Scandinavian world, maybe someone who is watching us doesn't know much about you and about your work.
Yeah. Where should I start? I'm from Finland, like you said, and I've been doing. I have my own business for almost 2 years now, and I learned how to knit in my childhood because every kid in Finland learns to knit at school, but
That's
I didn't really like it back then. So I only started to knit again in my 20s when I started going to university, and I had really hard time concentrating on art history lessons. So a friend of mine suggested that maybe you want to knit at the same time, then you have something to do with your hands and it's easier to focus. So I brought my knitting needles to the art history class and started knitting, and that's where I'm still at. And I studied to become a furniture conservator, so I did that work for over 10 years in different museums here in Finland. And then about 4 years ago, this yarn company in Finland contacted me and asked me if I wanted to come and work for them. And it was a big jump for me because I had only done this as a hobby and like a side hustle until then. And then I decided that if I want to start knitting and designing more, then I really need to take this leap and focus on it. So I worked for them for 2 years. I was their lead designer. And 2 years ago in January, it was the time of COVID, and everybody started to knit. And at the yarn company I was working for, there was like a lot of things happening, and people were demanding more patterns. And at the same time, more and more magazines were contacting me to work with them. And I was like in this crossroads. I had to decide what I want to do because I didn't have time for everything. So I again took this like leap, and I quit my job at the yarn company, and ever since I've been working only with my own brand, and I'm loving it. So
Great.
that's a bit about me. Is there something else you would like to know, or if there's a question from people who are watching this, you can also post questions, and I will try to answer them as well.
So I didn't know that you took these 2 leaps of faith, because in the last years, it's so interesting, and it demonstrates that you are a very courageous person. So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
When I was researching your profile in order to do this interview, I have, of course, I know your YouTube channel, but I realized that it's a very nice YouTube channel with many videos. And could you please tell us a little bit more about it? What kind of stuff we can find there, and why did you begin to do this, to make these videos and upload them in YouTube?
When I started out, when I started to knit, I didn't really have any knitting friends. And then at the same time, I started to find YouTube channels with people posting videos and talking about their knitting. And I thought that was such a nice idea, that you could share what you're knitting and get different ideas from people and see what they are making. So I wanted to do that as well. And also, I think it's a really nice way to engage with the people who are following you, because on Instagram, it's just that one photo and you don't get to see the backstory. And I wanted to have a channel where I can talk more about my designing process and all kinds of things that go through my head. The channel is mostly about me showing what I'm working on at the moment and what I'm planning to do, and people get to see a bit of the behind the scenes process of my knitwear design job. And I try to keep it really real. I often talk also about things that are challenging, because I kind of wish that when I started out as a knitwear designer, because this is kind of like the job that you don't really go to school and there's nobody teaching you, so you kind of have to figure it out everything yourself. So I wish there had been more people who shared the daily life of how it really is to be a knitwear designer, and not just the joy of it, but also the challenges that we face. And so it's kind of mixture of everything that happens to me on a daily basis, the joys of it, and also the missteps I take. And I hope people can also appreciate that and find so that not everybody has to make the same mistakes again. So that's about it.
We feel less guilty to make mistakes, right? I thought that if Sari is making mistake, I think I could make mistake also, and
I
do
think
not feel
everybody
guilty.
makes mistakes, and I think it's not a shame that you say that you made a mistake. I think it's part of being human.
And it's very nice from you to to tell us about it, to tell us about your process, because I don't know, nobody knows really how it is, and it's very difficult. So it's very, thank you very much for sharing this with us, because I think it's very useful. And
it's really nice. I would not change it for anything. I think this is the best thing that you can work with. But like with every occupation, there are the downsides, and but I love this.
Great. Look us. It's very good for us, right? Because we have your videos to watch and to feel good about them. So let's talk a little bit about your workshops in Bsrcelona Knits.
Yeah.
You will teach a technique that many knitters, or most, I don't know if most, but many knitters are afraid of, because at least at the first sight, it could be challenging. At least I can tell you from my side, when I was the totally beginner, I see cables and I was thinking like, I will never be able to knit them. It's impossible. And after that, when I learned how to knit them, I was, oh, it's not that difficult. I think you should know some details, some techniques, and then you can face it and you can do it and you can train and you can master it.
Yeah.
And one of them is already sold out, and the other one, which is addressed to beginners, has few spots, right, Chiara?
Yes.
Few spots available still. So I'd like to firstly ask you, why cables? Because I can see that many designs of yours have this detail, this technique, and why did you decide to teach them for beginners?
I think cables are a lot easier to make than what they appear. So I think it's a really great technique for beginners, because that way you can easily add a bit of flair, a bit of your own style, and like make complicated looking things without them actually being complicated. And I think with most knitting, when you learn the first few basic stitches, like the knit stitch and the purl stitch and the maybe the basic decreases, increases, you pretty much already know everything, because everything else is built on those few basic stitches. And
Right.
for example, cabling, it's just knit and purl stitches. You just change the order of the stitches. So it's not, you don't have to learn a new stitch to make it. And I often think that people get intimidated. They see a cable pattern, or let's say you have a big cabled sweater with lots of things happening, and people get lost in the whole thing, and
Yeah.
it starts to feel like this is too much. I can't take this in. I don't understand what is happening. But if you start to think about it stitch by stitch, you go, first you do this stitch, then you do the next stitch. And actually the whole thing is just a combination of stitches. So even the most complicated cable patterns, they are just combinations of the very basic cables. They just go different ways. And that's what I'm going to teach in the beginner class. So we are learning the very basic cabling technique. I think I will use a cable needle, but I knit the cables without a cable needle. I think it's so much easier. It's so much faster. So I will probably, let's see how fast the class goes, but I think I will also show you how to knit the cables without cable needle, because it's so much more like fuss-free. So I think that's a really good technique to learn. And again, I think people are starting to think, okay, more technique, and it's too much and it's intimidating, but it's not. It's easier and it's faster and more efficient. So I think that is a really nice technique to learn. And then we will go through combinations of cables. So if you add a left cable and a right cable and do them side by side, then you have like a braid and stuff like that. So you will quickly learn how to combine the cables to create different patterns. So that's what I'm teaching at the beginner course. And I think at the end of the course, you will have the same thought that you said, that oh, this is easy. I don't know why I thought this is so hard and why I never tried that, because actually every knitting technique that I have tried has been the same idea. First, like 2-color brioche stitch. I thought
Right.
that it looks so hard. I don't know. I don't even want to try it because it's too hard. And then I tried it and I was like, oh, is this it? Is this what I have been afraid of? So I think cabling is the same thing. It's really easy once you get the hang of it.
Great. That's great
Yeah.
to hear. And Sari, if you had the opportunity to send a message for those who are like in doubt about taking our course or not, I was afraid of, and then I heard Sari talking about that, and now I have this some courage to go there, but I'm still in doubt. What would you tell her? Would you tell people that are in doubt still?
Oh, I'm such a bad salesperson. Please come to the class. I think you will enjoy it. And like I said, it's so much easier than it looks like. And at the moment, when you look at, like, for example, fashion magazines, because I always love to reference what's going on in the fashion world, there are a lot of cables happening at the moment, like these very classic cable patterns. And instead of having to buy one after this course, you can make one yourself. And I think cables are nice because they are so timeless. So if you make a cable sweater, it's something that becomes a heirloom. It never goes out of style. So
yeah,
I think this is a really nice course for that.
I agree.
Yeah.
And also I think maybe a beginner knitter would meet another beginner knitters and other beginner knitters and can like exchange information, tell, I have this difficulty.
Yeah, that's true.
And a plus, not a plus, the plus is that they can meet you, come and meet you and learn from you.
I would love to meet you because the world has been so closed for many years. I started to teach some knitting classes in Finland just before COVID came. And I also taught some classes in London just before COVID came. And it was such a bummer because I had just gotten into the teaching and then the world closes. So this is going to be my first outside of Finland teaching gig ever since COVID came. So it's extra special for me. So it's so nice to meet fellow knitters. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody at Barcelona Knit.
That's great to know. Of course, I'm sure that it will be a masterclass on cables.
Yeah, thank you.
So Sari, last but not least, I will ask you something that I ask in all my interviews. Tell us something, it's not necessarily related to knitting, something that no one or nobody who is watching us, I think, knows about you. A very secretive thing.
You sent me this question beforehand, and I've been thinking about it all morning because I've had my Instagram and my YouTube for several years, and like I said, I often talk about also things that are not knitting related. So I've been trying to come up with something that nobody knows about me. I love to make food. I love baking, but I think that is something that if you have been following me for a long time, then you know it. But something that I haven't really talked about is that I'm also a plant lady. I have a lot of plants. I love plants. I just counted before this interview. We have over 30 houseplants at the moment, and I would have even more if I replanted some of the little seedlings that I have. They should be repotted in a bigger pot. So after that, I will have even more. And we are actually moving to. I've been living in like apartments for my whole adult life. So we are now moving to a little house with a yard. So I'm really looking forward to having, for the first time in my life, I'm having my own little garden. So I'm going to start gardening there as well. So I think that is something that people don't really know, that side of me. I've been doing that ever since I was a child. I used to pick up like acorns and plant them everywhere. And I used to have this orange tree that I grew from a seed. It was almost 10 years old, but unfortunately last year it was so dark here in Finland all the time. So even though I had plant lights, it didn't survive last year. It was already like this big.
Oh my God.
And I was so sad about losing the orange tree, but that's that's life. Yeah, but that's something I think I don't think Instagram or YouTube world knows about me.
Yeah, that's nice. It's really a talent because I confess I've tried many times that I
You
couldn't. I
just
just
have
couldn't
to
have
learn.
plants.
You just have to find the right plants for you, because I also have some plants that I just can't get to grow. I don't know the names of them in English, but I have a lot of orchids. I think they are super easy. People are always so afraid of orchids, but I think they are really easy once you get the hang of it. And also I have a lot of Hoyas, and they are also very beginner friendly plants. So maybe you can start with those.
Nice tip.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'll try this.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Sari. It was a pleasure to talk to you a little bit more,
Thanks for having me.
know about new things about
Yeah.
you. And it will be a pleasure to meet you in person in
Yes,
Barcelona.
you
I'm
too.
looking forward
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
And I hope people get the courage to take your classes, beginner classes in cables, and I think it will be a success as always. So thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, girls. It was a
Yeah.
really nice talk, a nice chat. I also have orchids, and I was like, yes, it's super easy once you get the
Yeah.
point. At the
Yeah.
beginning, it's hard, but then I used to have like, I don't know, maybe 10, and my mom have, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 or even more. It's such a
Yeah.
lovely plant.
Yes.
What I was going, yeah, so nice. I was going to say that we have the workshops. They're on sale until November 3rd. So if you're in doubt and you want to sign up, so you have time until then. And yes, we have some places. I'm looking at the computer. We have some places for cables for beginners, as Nara and Sari were talking about. And yes, I think it's such a nice workshop to, like you said, like to apply in your, like a detail when you are knitting like a regular sweater, just to add. And for the other workshop for advanced cables, if someone is interested, we have, maybe I just was checking the email today. We have a person who, after all, won't be able to come. So we have maybe one person at the waiting list. So if you're watching this video and you want to take this class, please send us an email to hello at barcelonaknits.com, and then we will see if is there a place for you. And we are really looking forward to see you all in Barcelona Knits. And Sari, thank you so much for this interview, and see you all in November.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm looking
Thank you.
forward to seeing you all. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be great.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See you.
See you.